Whoever hears of the sweet pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, their heart will become pure. In one who takes the holy name of Gauranga, there is an awakening of love of Godhead. To such a person I say, bravo, excellent. If one appreciates the transcendental qualities of Lord Gauranga, the eternal pastimes manifest in their heart. Such a person has real devotional qualification. By considering the associates of Lord Gauranga to be eternally perfect, one can attain the association of Sri Krishna in Brajadam. Whoever considers the land of Lord Gauranga, Sri Navadip Dham, to be the land of transcendental touchstone, that person takes residence in Brajadam, Sri Vrindavan. Whoever dives into the waves of the nectarian ocean of love of Lord Gauranga becomes an intimate associate of Sri Sri Radha Madhava. Whether one lives in a house or in the forest, if they chant, O Lord Gauranga, Narottam Das begs to attain their association. Grihe va vanete take ha Gauranga bole take. Doesn't matter where one lives. If one lives in the city, supposedly the city is full of so much, you know, all these kinds of activities, mundane activities, commotion always going on in the city. In the country there may be some peaceful quality, some peacefulness, but here Narottam is saying, doesn't matter. One lives in the country or in the city. If they're sheltered at Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, at Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet, then Narottam Das says that I desire their association. So, anyway, by singing some of these songs every week, we hear the words of our acharyas, of our spiritual guides, and they give us some infusion, some hearing of what is their conception. And if we approach that with some devotion, that may give us some wealth in our own lives. Especially, I always remember that we always, as we were continuing in our activities in the temple or in the association of devotees, we would try to come to programs in the morning and programs in the evening. And in between, sandwiched between those programs, we would have activities during the day. So sometimes anybody, regardless of who they are or where they are, sometimes one gets worn down by just, dealing with so many activities in this world. It's not someone has so many responsibilities and so many obligations in this world. They're, maintaining themselves, maintaining their family, their social obligations and everything like that. And sometimes you get just worn down, you get exhausted by dealing with those things. I mean, it's, you have to deal, someone has to go to work and they have to deal with so many factors. And it's like that song, Bhaja Hure Mana. It says, how's it go? It says, Sita Atapa Bata Varishana Dina Yamani Jagire Bifali Sevinu Kripana Durajana Chapala Sukha Lobai Lagire. It says, Sita Atapa. It says, Sita Atapa Bata Varishana Edina Yamani Jagire. Day and night, heat, hot, whether it's hot, sometimes in the heat, and sometimes in the cold, I'm working hard. I'm working hard day and night, And sometimes the persons I'm working with, they're not so illuminated. They're not so enlightened. He says, Bifali Sevinu Kripana Durjana. Many of them are who I'm in association with. They're kripanas, I mean, you even sounds like the English word, kripanas, you know, but it means they're miserly persons, you know, they have no, you know, they have no mercy, they're miserly persons. Bifali sevinu kripana durajana. But why am I working for them? Chapala sukha lobai lagire, because in that way I get some facilities for chapala sukha, some flickering happiness, you know, some happiness. They'll give me a paycheck and I'll be able to use that paycheck and I'll be enjoying until Monday. You know, because what happens Monday? I start work again. And I get paid on Friday, and Monday I'm in need again. Hard working just for satisfying these kripanas. I guess in English we could say these creeps. Kripanas. You know. And why is it? So those activities are there, but Narottam is saying, Grihe va vanete take hagoranga bolidake. He says, whether you live in the forest or whether you live in the city, you know, people think that living in the countryside, maybe I'm an organic farmer living in the countryside, then that should be very nice. Maybe, might be, I don't know. I don't know if you own your own land or what, but Narottam says that's not really the important factor. Just living in this material world, anyone's going to have so many difficulties on one level or another. But he says, whether you're in the city or whether you're in the country, if you're chanting the name of Lord Gauranga, if you're associating with the devotees, then he says, I want your association. These are the kind of persons, he says, I want to have their association. They're not making any distinction. We see in Mahaprabhu's associates, they come from many different walks of life, many different situations. Some very poor and some not poor, but they all have some inner substance. They have some inner riches. And it doesn't matter what their economic situation is or their social situation. We hear about the activities of Kalidas. Kalidas is one associate of Mahaprabhu. And he's a very happy man. He's always joking. But, you know, it says he's always chanting the holy name and always looking to take some prasadam, some mercy from the Vaishnavas. And sometimes it says he's chanting the holy name and he's rolling dice. You know, he's saying, Hare Krishna, rolling dice. You know. And at the same time, it says that he took the foot dust and also took prasadam from every Vaishnava in Bengal. It's just a lot of Vaishnavas. He would search them out, and he didn't care if they were rich or poor, but he would, you know, he would try to get their foot dust. He would try to get the remnants of their food. And one time he approached one Thakur. What's that Thakur's name? Jadu Thakur. But anyway, he's approaching him, who was from a very poor family. And Kalidas was from a better family, but he approached him and said to that Thakur, he said, please give me your foot dust. And the Thakur didn't want to do that. He's not going to give them dust from his feet. And then he says, and some mercy from you, foodstuffs. And then, and Thakur says, you know, you are a respectable gentleman. I'm a very poor person. Why should you ask this of me? It's not proper. And then Kalidas, he quotes many verses, and he says, even if a person's born in a poor family, you know, any position in society, if he chants the holy name of the Lord, if he's a Vaishnava, then we should take his mercy. You know, he can do any Vedic sacrifices, anything. Kalidas says, yes, I believe that. That's true. But that applies to persons who are devotees, Vaishnavas. I'm not a devotee. That's a natural thinking of a devotee. He's not thinking I'm a devotee. Because I'm not a devotee. So that verse is true. I believe that. But it doesn't apply to me because I don't have those kind of qualities. So then Kalidas gave him some mangoes that were all wrapped in leaves and everything, and gave it to him, and then he apparently left. And that Thakur, took the things into his house, and his wife, put them in before him on a plate, and he took that, and then his wife took, and then he was, sometimes taking mangoes, licking the skins, getting the fruit off with one's teeth, and then taking everything they wrapped it and threw it out in the garbage. But Kalidas was hiding. He was hiding outside, waiting for that to happen. As soon as Thakur's wife threw everything out in the pit in the garbage, then Kalidas, when they weren't there, he came back out of his hiding place, and he got all the skins and seeds, and he's licking them, and he's feeling ecstasy, getting the Vaishnava's remnants. Oh, and he also would take the foot dust of all the Vaishnavas and take whatever remnants, and it says all the Vaishnavas in Bengal. He must have been very busy, but he was like that.
You got the water from
Mahaprabhu's feet. When Mahaprabhu was washing his feet near the temple of Lord Jagannath, the Garudastan, one place where Mahaprabhu used to stay behind the temple of Garuda. The column, when Garudastan means a column of Garuda, pillar, with Garuda at the top. And he would wash his feet, and that water would go into a ditch. And Mahaprabhu gave orders that nobody can take the water from his feet, but Kalidas would reach out and catch that water, and Mahaprabhu somehow or other tolerated that, because that was Kalidas's obsession. Kalidas's obsession is to get foot dust, the water from the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas, and the remnants, the food remnants. So he would always take that from everyone. And Mahaprabhu knew he had great faith in prasadam, so he allowed Kalidas that liberty of taking water from him. And we see this. But Kalidas didn't matter if he's with a very poor person, someone who has no social position. If he's a Vaishnava, then Kalidas wanted his, the dust from his feet, or the water, or his remnants of food stuff. He's not thinking who's socially, who's rich person or poor person. That's outside of his consideration. Those are the kind of activities we hear about. Chaitanya Charitamrita, for us, that description of Mahaprabhu and his associates, that's really very important. While I'm remembering this also, I want to mention that this Thursday is Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj's divine appearance. This is Kartik month. Before we go, we should also sing some songs of Kartik, Radha and Krishna songs.
What time will be the Thursday program?
It'll be an evening program. We'll start at 6 o'clock with Arti. 6 o'clock on Thursday with Arti. And then we'll continue from there, the glorification of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. So everyone's invited for that program
Will
here.
San Jose also be having a program at their temple at the same time?
Of course, they'll also have a program at their temple, San Jose and here. And Wednesday is the day that Srila Govinda Maharaj has taken sannyas, right? So,
Also the same day, Srila Janardan Maharaj took sannyas as well.
yeah. Although took it different, same day. Govinda Maharaj took from Guru Maharaj, and I also took from. So,
You received from Prabhupada.
yeah, in 1972. So this year is 40 years. 2012. Yeah. 40 years of disqualification. Anyway. So that's, and Wednesday we'll have some preparations, maybe talk about it in the morning, but our formal program will be Thursday. If anyone wants to come here on Wednesday, take some nice prasad at noontime and hear something too, maybe before then. We'll be here Wednesday, but Thursday evening program. And like that, everything is going on naturally. And as I said, this month is Kartik. This month is Shrimati Radharani's special month also. Kartik. Everyone in Vrindavan, they always say, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe. A special, very special place. When I went to India this time, I went through Govardhan and Vrindavan. And I got to Srila Govinda Maharaj's Samadhi was, it was opened, inaugurated in Vrindavan, in Govardhan actually, Govardhan. His Pushpa Samadhi, this last time of his disappearance. So, but I was here because we have our own Pushpa Samadhi here, so we had a program for Govinda Maharaj's disappearance on that day. So I came to that program. But this time I got to go see Srila Govinda Maharaj's beautiful Pushpa Samadhi in Govardhan. And of course his Samadhi in Navadip, also was there, and from that Samadhi. This also went to Eka Chakra. I was gone 5 weeks, but I visited a lot of places. So Eka Chakra, Lord Nityananda's appearance place, and there we had Srila Acharya Maharaj's, Guru Puja. So that was nice. Everything was really, I was really happy traveling along this time. And as I mentioned last week, my first time in China, so previously, not even imagined, previously. A long time ago, I was stayed for 6 months in Hong Kong. Well, we couldn't go to China at that time. I mean, maybe it could, but it wasn't so much thinking in it. But this time, I was able to go to China, to Chongqing and to Shenzhen. Beautiful, very nice. It's nice devotees there, chanting the holy names, and with Yudamanyu Seva Vikram and everything. I don't know. Other people, they travel around with one of these books, see China or see Thailand or see India.
On $10 a day.
$10 a day. We do it on less.
$10 a day.
That's an old book.
Old book, yeah, very old. I was talking to, one lady, she was a probation officer. She wasn't my probation officer. I wasn't on probation. But a friend of mine was in what had been formerly in what he called the government guest house. He had been in the government guest house, so I was meeting with his probation officer. So we're talking, now about, Thailand on $10 a day. And I said, the devotees have a different perspective of things. I said, we didn't have that perspective, What would we do? You'd have to be earning $40,000 a year, $30,000, $40,000 a year. She asked when I joined the mission. I said 1970. She said it shows. She said it shows in the sense that she said nobody's going to live on $30,000 a year nowadays. Even $40,000 a year. I mean, I talked to my brother, and my brother says, "How is it you travel all the time and you don't have a job?" But I do have a job. I'm full-time employed. But I said, first of all, it's my only expense traveling. I said, how much does somebody spend on rent, on food, But my only expense is traveling. So what do I spend on traveling? I said, even if it was $5,000 a year, or even more. I said, if a person had an income of $5,000 a year, where would they be? Solidly situated below the poverty line, right? Yeah. If you earn $5,000 a year, you might be able to live on that in Vietnam, but I don't know. In America, probably pretty difficult. But I said, but our life is, we are traveling and glorifying, the Lord and His devotees, singing the holy name. I figure that's pretty good. Anybody who's singing every day, some glorification of the Lord and His devotees, can't be too bad off, Just singing is they say it's, if you're singing, what is it? Like they always say in Mexico, canta no llores, just sing, don't cry. You sing, things will go better for you. What is that song? Canta no llores, porque cantando se alegran ojitos los corazones. Yeah, it'll gladden your heart if you sing.
Ashram just singing this nicely, huh?
Everybody, I don't know it so well. Everyone in Mexico knows that song. And you can't be born in Mexico without knowing, Celito Lindo. I mean, beautiful blue sky, it's called. It's like natural quality of the people, I guess in many ways you would say their material situation is worse than their neighbors to the north. Although they do have that saying, Pobre Mexico, tan lejos de Dios y tan cerca de los Estados Unidos. Which means, poor Mexico, so far from God and so close to the United States. That's their saying. Humorous saying, of course. But, materially, maybe worse off than America by far, but, it's part of our, part of our philosophy. We always hear, oh, you're back from your trip to the dentist with Denise?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. heard that saying. Be true to your teeth and they'll never be false teeth. But that's Denise's teeth. So what the saying is that you're not supposed to be complaining about the environment. You know, whatever you're consuming in the environment is what you've taken into your system. You know, your karma, what you're experiencing. But I'm not criticizing someone who naturally complains about the environment. I mean, that's a principle that we're supposed to follow, not to complain about the environment. But it's really not so easy to, sounds like a simple principle. I'm not going to complain about the environment. But it's not so easy to follow. I mean, any of us, we can forget that at any moment. You know? That really what you're encountering is what you put out into the system, so to speak. You know, your karma, maybe even not even visible from this life. You know, it's just following you around, your karma. My karma, too. I even saw that with Govinda Maharaj. When Siddhanta Maharaj was calling him, Siddhanta Maharaj was very sick, and so was Govinda Maharaj, very sick. Govinda Maharaj said to Siddhanta Maharaj, he said, Maharaj, we are all suffering from our karma fall. We're all suffering from the results of our previous karma. You know? Of course, we're thinking Gurudev is not subject to karma, but in his humility, he's expressing that. And it's a good idea to hear that for all of us, you know. So we're all getting the results of our karma. We're not supposed to complain about the environment, but that's a basic principle. But we do. I do. Everyone complains about the environment. You know, if anyone says, you know, that something really good happened to them, they'll take credit for that. And if something bad happens to them, they'll say, oh, I had really bad luck. You know, it's really, you know, just didn't go my way. But when things do go their way, it's because of their own, you know, capacity. You know, I pulled myself up by my sandal straps or whatever. Not bootstraps, sandal straps or whatever. You know. Anyway, we take credit for what's good happening to us, and we, you know, don't take credit. I remember that story I heard about one. I think I told that about Yamaraj and the man who had a farm and had a garden, a beautiful garden and everything, and you know, like. One time a cow went into his garden and started kneading, and the man killed the cow because he was thinking, this cow's ruining my garden, and killed the cow. And then, you know, he was going to be punished for that activity. So Yamaraj was coming, and then he started speaking. You know, Yamaraj sent someone, and he said, well, you can't really blame me for this action. He says, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. You know, so, you know, I didn't do anything that wasn't approved by the Lord, etc. So then the consideration was given, yes, this philosophy is right, that not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord, but this man's not of that realization. He doesn't have that realization. That's a realization of a saintly person, but he's not a saintly person, and he doesn't have that realization that not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Lord. So to test it, he did. Someone came there, a small boy, said by Yamaraj, and said, oh, what a nice garden this is. Everything here, very beautiful. And he said, who's planted this garden? He says, I did. Everything you see, I planted, I arranged it, I worked hard. And all this is done by me. Oh, really? These beautiful flowers growing here? Yeah, that's my work. I did. I did that. I took everything here. I've arranged everything, landscaped everything perfect, done by me. Yeah. This role too? Yes. It's all done by me. Oh, glad. Yes. So he's saying, I did this. And then that person said, oh, you did all this, yeah. And who killed the cow? So he's taking credit for everything in the garden. So very innocent voice. Yes, you did all this. You all by yourself. And who killed the cow? Oh, wait a minute. You tricked me. And that's actually, it's a true philosophy but we're not always remembering that everything happens by the will of the Lord. That's a very high realization. I don't necessarily have that realization, remembering. Otherwise, why would I? I had that conversation with Srila Govinda Maharaj. Govinda Maharaj said, he told me, you should, he saw I was concerned about things that were going on. He said, you should smile, try to be cheerful with other people. Don't be grumpy with them. He said, well, sometimes it's very difficult. There are you have a lot of problems to deal with. And he says, then you should get an operation. Maybe an operation like that character in Joker. Joker, he has a nice smile. But anyway, he was trying to give me some humorous instruction for dealing with other people. I said, yes. Trying to be nice to other people, try to smile. He said, tell them, like you, I have not seen someone effulgent with Krishna consciousness. He said, whether it's true or not, I'm going to say that. Like you, I have not seen someone effulgent with Krishna consciousness.
Nice diplomat, I see.
Well, yeah, maybe. But sometimes, we're given some exaggerated instruction to, emphasize a point. Maybe the instruction itself, there's some sarcasm in there or some humor in there, but still, there's an element of the truth, because if he didn't say it like that, then I'd just say, oh, well, can't always do that, because sometimes people come and they, they're very insulting, and they say this, and they do that. And it's like saying, no, not getting into a debate. Oh, you can't smile, get an operation. Someone comes in, try to compliment them. There may be reasons when you're not complimenting somebody. Somebody may be but still, Trinada Pisuni Chena Tadoriva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. It's supposed to be humble like a blade of grass, tolerant like a tree, and offering respect to others even without receiving respect from them. So that's a principle. Mahaprabhu says that. Govinda Maharaj always spoke that principle. He applied it to his life. It's a very good principle. But as we said before, you can fake being humble, and you can fake being humble, and you can fake giving respect to others, but it's really hard to fake tolerance. Even if somebody's faking humility and offering respect to others, they may not be able to fake tolerance, because, even though you can show those qualities fictitiously, as a put on, so to speak, you won't be able to fool people that you're tolerant. People will know, no, that person's not tolerant. I know him. Any slight thing will become angry. And then people know you're not tolerant, right? Sometimes it can be exaggerated. Okay. One man, I was talking to him in India, and he said, our ideas of a sadhu is that you can take the person and you can just beat him and he won't complain. Well, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not of that mind. You know, I think you've got a wrong idea of what tolerance means. But anyway.
Hate to be a sadhu around there.
No, around that person, I don't think he really knows what a sadhu is. You know, because if the kind of sadhu he's talking about, beat that sadhu, maybe tomorrow your arm will drop off or something, you know. You don't beat a saint and expect nothing to happen to you, you know, that's not going to work. But again, I'm not on that category where I'm just going to be, oh yeah, I'll smile. Like. Anyway, anyone have any questions? Then we're going to sing some songs of Kartik. Finish like that. No questions? All right. So let's sing Namam Damodarashtikam. The first slide. Namami Sharam Satchidananda Rupa.
Page 95 in the blue book.
And here, 254. Okay? You ready for this?